So firstly, I wondered what you think the biggest challenges for spinal surgeons have been in the pediatric area.
Well, I think the Magec really started for patients with early onset scoliosis. Mm-hmm. They're defined as 10 years and younger. And that's what the real problem is. Patients are very young. If they develop scoliosis and the scoliosis is progressive, it affects multiple systems, especially the cardiovascular system. The breathing is affected, and they may have significant complications from pulmonary status. And so the problem for early onset scoliosis and the very young children is not just the spine, it's the entire system. Patients with older patients with adolescent idiopathic scoliosis and AIS, they usually don't die from disease, from scoliosis. But children under 10, they may, if they're not treated. So for a long time, this area of spine was neglected as far as finding a good treatment or good ways of dealing with this issue, which is spine and other systems. So the fusion is not good, because if they do the fusion, the lung and the thorax doesn't grow either, and then the lung are smaller, they don't grow and they can't breathe. So we have to have a system where the spine can grow at the same time that you correct the spine. So I have to be correcting the spine as well as allowing the growth. And we used a method called traditionally growing rod procedure, where you had to go in every 6 months under general anesthesia and try to lengthen these, just unscrew them, lengthen the spine, and then come back 6 months later. And these multiple surgeries we found that is associated with more complications. And so early on, we developed a study group where multiple centers around the world, including UK and Europe, Spain and other areas, Turkey, they and the United States, they collected the data of these patients, and we analyzed them, and we found that this multiple surgery is very is associated with high risk. And also the risk of multiple anesthesia, complications and so on, increases. So if we had a method where non-invasively we could lengthen these, would have been nice. And about 2007, I found that there is a technology that is pretty much offered for weight reduction, lap band. Okay. And so, well, this really works, for the spine. So we started to work on that, and we did some preclinical studies, and proved the effectiveness and efficacy of the device. And then we did the first patient in 2009, November 2009 in Hong Kong. And since then, we did some cases in 2013, and we went for FDA clearance, which was done early 2014. And now over about 8,000 cases have been done throughout the world. So what we have found is that we don't have to take them back to the operating room. And we had several studies that's showing, comparing the old technique and the new technique, and it's as effective, and we have saved a lot of surgeries for these patients, which help them both financially, psychologically, socially, and taking the burden out of families. We don't have all the answers. We still have the basic disease, but which is different. The variety of diseases can cause scoliosis in young children. We still have that, but as far as treating the scoliosis and allowing them to grow, we have really accomplished, and I think is a game changer for treatment of early onset scoliosis.
So how exactly does the Magec rod
So the
allow
Magec
you
rod
to extend?
is a rod that comes, straight, and you can contour it to the normal contour of the spine, because we have this sort of a sway back here, and we have this round back in the top. So we can do that. We can't, and we shouldn't contour the magnetic portion, which is called actuator. But the rest we can do it. And there's a magnet inside, built in the rod, and this is able to rotate and push a screw, which then, by pushing the rod outside of the actuator. So each time we put an external magnet with the patient in clinic, they come in to the clinic, it takes like less than 5 minutes. You locate the actuator, you put the external magnet outside, and you put down the dial in like 4 or 5 millimeters or whatever the potential for growth is. That's sort of studying now to find out what the proper lengthening is. But we dial that in, and then we put it, and then when the lengthening is done, stops. We can now confirm it with ultrasound, which is saving a lot of radiation. We don't need to do x-rays. And we confirm the lengthening, and they come back in 3 months, 2 months, whatever the length is, and we do it again. So probably, it takes about maybe 3 years or so to sort of get to the maximum. If they still need further, lengthening, then we have to change the rod. But right now, has been very successful.
Okay. I wondered where the future lies for the Magec system. Are you going to develop it any further?
Well, obviously, technology always changes, and we have some challenges as far as the the size of the device. We have actually developed a smaller actuator where we can put it in the smaller patients. The rods have been changed to fit different sizes of the anchors. And in addition to that, we are really understanding more and more of biomechanics of the device as it relates to the spine. There's some computer analysis, there's some biomechanical studies, so to make it more efficient. I think that at this point, there's all the effort is towards improvement of existing device. What happens in the future, whether we can find, I think the real progress would be to find what the cause of early onset scoliosis is. We're doing some genetic studies, internationally to collect the blood samples, genes, DNA, and all of that. But that's a long way to go. But I think it's always looking, in the future to maybe one day you can just take a pill and say, well, this is all you need. You don't need surgery. So
one day.
That's our goal, hopefully.
Great. Well, thanks very much for speaking with me.
Well, you're welcome.